Hey guys, Chris here. Currently in Trondheim with the brand new V60. I'm on my way home, which is a 600 kilometer, 7.5 hour trip. And this thing is almost out of view, so let's see if we can lock this in place. Nope. This thing is almost out of fuel, so it needs a full tank of fuel. Hopefully we'll get home on one tank of fuel. I'm not sure how big the tank is, but I'm guessing about 60 liters. Fuel consumption about 9 liters per 100 kilometers on this trip will probably get me home. But on this trip home, a lot of you guys have been missing the travel vlog, so we're gonna do a part travel vlog and a part find out if this is the best Volvo to date. We're gonna go through some questions I have and gonna try to answer them and find out if this is the best Volvo have ever built. About half an hour on the road now, on this country road, this country highway. This car is so quiet and so comfortable. No, it's not as quiet as my XC90. No, it's not as quiet as a V90 S90, but it's not far off, guys. It is actually very quiet. And though this car having sports suspension, so this car is a bit lower than a normal V60 and a bit stiffer on anything other than, you know, sharp impacts in the city like tramline tracks or train tracks and potholes, this thing is perfectly comfortable. So on roads like this, I would rather have the sports suspension than the normal suspension because there's no penalty at all. One of the best things about this car is the T6 drivetrain, all-wheel drive with 310 horsepower. This thing is quick. This is the smallest car I've driven this engine in, and this thing just flies. The engine is so smooth and quiet. When you rev it out, it doesn't become noisy, it doesn't become harsh. This must be, I don't know, the smoothest four-cylinder I've ever driven in recent memory. I think they've done something about the engine installation here because it's just a bit more quiet, just a bit more hushed than in my XC90. They didn't have to do that because I think it actually makes a really nice sound. And in my XC90, in the T8, you know, assisted by the electric motor, I think it makes a really nice sound actually. It does that here, but here is just a bit more hushed. But this drivetrain and the transmission is so smooth. The power delivery is so linear, and it just pulls harder and harder the closer you get to red line. I love this engine. One of the best four-cylinders I've ever tested. The reason I think this just might be the best Volvo to date is the way it drives. And more specifically, the way it feels in the hands, the way it feels on the road. So with this engine and this being, you know, Volvo's lightest and smallest normal car they've built to date. The XC40 is smaller, but that's an SUV. This thing just feels so positive and so planted. The handling is so beautiful here on these twisty roads. Now in dynamic mode, steering weight's up, gas response is much sharper here on these 19-inch wheels. You can just carry so much speed through the corners, and this thing is just so composed. and just feels so planted and so confidence inspiring. Apart from the V60, the Polestar I drove last year, this is hands down the best driving Volvo to date. No doubt in my mind. It's just and you don't even have to go quick. So back off the throttle here, put it back into individual mode, which is basically comfort mode with start stop deactivated, and even just going slow speeds through the corners. It just feels so positive. It's so planted. The body structure is by far the most rigid I've felt in a Volvo ever. It's so rigid, this body. And the suspension tuning, yes, this has the sport chassis, but I'm pretty sure if you got this with the adaptive dampers that will be available later this year, it would feel just as good. But how this sits, this car, it's as good to drive as a BMW 3 Series. It might even be better. It's better to drive than an Audi A4 on twisty roads. I'm pretty sure, guys, that it is. It's hands down the best driving Volvo ever.
Burned me once or twice, I expect them. I just wanna know what your truth is. Will you be the one to break me out of this? I want you all to myself. Don't wanna share you with nobody else. So give me something to believe. Will you promise me? Will you promise me?
A few hours into the trip, guys, food break, burger station, gas station hamburgers are so awesome here in Norway. If you ever visit, gas stations make the best burgers. So we have the V60 parked up here behind me, and it's a thing of beauty. It's so good looking. Is it better looking than a V90? It's very close. I like that this is shorter and the proportions might work a bit better, but the V90 is still so gorgeous, so low and so wide. But this wears Volvo's newest design language so beautifully. The front end with the extended Thorshammer LEDs that extend, beyond the tail, beyond the headlight, and the concave grille. I just love this car, though I would prefer a different color. I think this denim blue is a bit boring, but I love the 19-inch wheels, and this inscription trim looks beautiful, and also the R design also looks awesome. Welcome to Oslo, guys. Parked up here, the V60 is actually a very practical size. It's actually the perfect size for this city because it's not too big, it's not too long or too wide like something like a V90 cross country, or an XC90. It's just a really nice size, and that's why I think this is also one of the best cars to buy now from Volvo, because it's just a perfect size for a city like Oslo and other European cities. Other than being, the perfect size for the city, it actually has a very practical boot. So, unlike the XC60, this boot is almost as big as the boot you get in the Volvo V90. 529 liters is very impressive in this class, and well, I'm full of, work stuff and travel stuff here and a lot of boxes, but the shape is very square, and the tailgate is very upright. It's very easy to utilize. It's just you get a very large trunk in a car that isn't that big on the outside. Ooh, finally home, guys, after almost 8 hours of driving, more than 600 kilometers. almost 400 miles. I'm just knackered. These past few weeks have been crazy busy at work because I'm going on vacation next week. I just had to get a lot of work out of the way. But just the closing statements, the closing reasons for why I think the new V60 probably is the best car Volvo make today. It gets all the big boy tech, the 360 camera, all the crash avoidance tech, IntelliSave, rear cross traffic alert, automatic emergency braking, collision avoidance, pedestrian avoidance, large animal detection, all that stuff. It gets the Bowers & Wilkins premium sound system, though an option. So it gets all the big boy stuff, all the tech, and all the options you can get in the XC90. Minus some leather options and luxury roof options. But otherwise than that, it gets everything. And lastly, it's cheaper than the V90 S90, and on the inside, it's almost as big. It's got a little smaller trunk, but I don't know if the V90 S90 is worth the price jump. I'm not actually sure. But best of all, it's the best driving Volvo to date, no doubt in my mind. So guys, do you agree with my points? Have you driven the new V60? I know it's brand new, and there aren't a lot of videos out there on YouTube yet, so I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you liked today's video, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always guys, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.